Yesterday, a proposed amendment to the bill passed an Assembly committee. The amendment would protect high-quality wetlands and limit the wetland area a project could fill. Ultimately, it will be up to lawmakers whether or not schools mandate teachers to carry guns. But how do the students feel about their teachers being armed? The same kids these walls behind me were built to protect. I spoke with Crandon's athletic director today, Josh Yeager, and he said they could have never done it without the support of the Crandon community. When a client comes to Stable Reins for a session, it is a one-on-one experience with them and the horse. Don and Ray told me that a horse can sense a human's heartbeat from 4 feet away. Today we learned the victim's name is Sharon Bender. Bender lived in the Clear Lake Condos trailer park near Tomahawk. I spoke to some of her neighbors today, and they told me Bender will be missed dearly. Congressman Sean Duffy brought together the community, Secretary Carson, and a panel of experts to start a dialogue for change. The number of snowmobile-related deaths this year is on track to match that of last year, which was 16. Compared to the last decade, this is below average, but Walls says that even one death is too many. I'm here in Crandon, and the excitement around the girls' basketball team is apparent, both at the high school and downtown. I spoke with the school's athletic director today, and he says they sold over 1,000 tickets to Thursday's game in Green Bay. Young's last name is fitting, as he is almost 20 years younger than both of his opponents. He thinks the combination of his experience in local government and his younger focus on the future sets him apart. Cardinals coach Keegan Kincaid said the girls are being treated like queens. That certainly showed today at the pep rally, where students, parents, and community members cheered for the girls one last time in their hometown. Now, how many acres of wetlands are we talking about? Wisconsin has around 5 million acres of wetlands statewide. Now, 80% is federally protected under the Clean Water Act, but that leaves the other 20% up for debate. In 2016, Ryan Hempel was diagnosed with a rare form of soft tissue cancer. Fewer than 1% of all cancer patients get it. After months of surgeries, radiation, and chemotherapy, Hempel told me he was thrilled to return to the ice, but he always knew he would. Since September, 2 inmates have gotten their GED and HSED through the Oneida County program, and several more are on their way. The teacher of the program says it's about more than just getting a diploma. It's about giving people a second chance. In hopes of promoting second home ownership, Wisconsin lawmakers made a new law that protects the ability of homeowners to rent out their homes on a short-term basis. But the law has some members of the Northwoods community worried about their peace and quiet.
It's just disruptive. It's just not a residential area anymore.
Paul Warner and his wife Karen have owned their home in Sugar Camp since 1972.
It's just been one mess right after another with the renters.
Over the years, Warner has had countless bad experiences with a neighboring home that rents short-term.
Every week it's a different group of people. It's a different group of noise and a different group of kids screaming and yelling.
Warner is worried others in the Northwoods will have the same bad experience because of a recent law change.
People are going to come up and be respectful, and that it's going to be no problem. If people are going to be coming up and partying and shooting fireworks off every night, then we're going to see some real backlash.
The controversial law passed as a part of the budget gives homeowners, rather than local government, control of home rentals. Oneida County Zoning Director Carl Genrich says there's been an increase in rental permit requests.
We've always had the desire for people to rent out their homes.
But Genrich worries about taking away local control.
We're looking more that once you start renting it out on such a basis, it's more of a business.
The owner of Holiday Acres Resort in Rhinelander, Kim Zambon, was disappointed with the way the law was passed. He said it didn't allow for any public debate.
I think we're kind of opening up the marketplace to some pretty unregulated and uncontrolled rental opportunities.
Zambon worries about the effect the change will have on his own business.
It should be a level playing field for everyone.
Kurt Frost isn't trying to compete with local resorts. He lives in Illinois and rents out his second home in Minocqua. Frost said owning that home wouldn't be worth it if he couldn't rent it out and offset some of the property taxes and maintenance costs.
It wouldn't make as much sense to have that much money parked in a second home, not really doing anything for you. There wouldn't really be too many tax advantages, and we probably wouldn't be able to enjoy it the same way.
But the Werners think they have a right to enjoy their home too.
And they said, well, you know, people like the neighbors here have a right to do things on their property, but don't the rest of us have a right?
Local governments can make regulations that require property owners to comply with noise standards, parking requirements, and health permits. The law also allows local governments to place a 6-month cap on rentals, but Oneida County is not doing this. It is making a 7-day minimum on home rentals. Yesterday, Governor Scott Walker said he does not support arming teachers. Some students told me they feel completely safe at school, but others said nothing could make them feel safe right now. When Jody Pyer became a teacher 14 years ago, she never imagined carrying a gun might be in her job description.
I don't think that there's any place for guns in the classroom.
But with the current climate of violence in schools, Pyer's fear may become a reality.
I would probably step away from teaching. I'm just not comfortable enough around guns.
Last week, Wisconsin Attorney General Brad Schimmel said local school districts should have the option of arming teachers. High school social studies teacher Jacob Schuler said if this happened, he would fall in line.
Outside of the classroom setting, let's say lunch, extracurriculars, passing time, I feel pretty vulnerable, and I think a lot of kids feel vulnerable.
Ultimately, it will be up to lawmakers whether or not schools mandate teachers to carry guns. But how do the students feel about their teachers being armed? The same kids these walls behind me were built to protect.
I would feel less safe because I feel that it gives the kids a chance to access more guns.
I would feel a lot safer, definitely. Just because with the current situation, I mean, when there is a school shooting, what happens is we call someone with a gun. But Pyer knows it's not the kids' job to worry about this issue.
So they're all scared. It's going to be okay. We have a plan. We know what we're going to do if this happens. And our teachers are going to keep us safe.
And no matter what, the teachers have their students' best interest.
It's not in our job description, but if it's going to help save a life or if it's going to keep kids safer, yeah, I'd do whatever it takes.
According to the Educators School Safety Network, Wisconsin is ranked the 7th most concerning state for incidents of threats and violence. The top 10 states make up 1/3 of all threats and incidents tracked in all 50 states last year. Ellen Hilgendorf told me after her divorce, she threw herself into her work and family, and that was fine with her until she spent some time at Stable Reins Horse Therapy in Prentice, and the horses showed Ellen to put herself first. The piano was Ellen Hilgendorf's first love. As Ellen got older, life got more complicated than tricky melodies on 88 keys. At 61, Ellen thought she would never love again.
And I had been hurt from my previous divorce so badly.
Until she went to Stable Reins Horse Therapy.
What those horses were speaking to me was I needed love in my life again.
Stable Reins is an experiential horse therapy farm in Prentice. Owners Dawn and Ray Schroeder say their clients suffer from a variety of mental health issues, like PTSD, anxiety, and depression.
Wow, she could see a little action.
Dawn is the mental health specialist.
It's deeper. It seems longer lasting than traditional talk therapy.
Ray is the horse specialist.
They're probably the most honest animal there is. They live for the moment. A horse will look at you how you are right at the moment, and they can see inside of you what is going on.
When a client comes to Stable Reins for a session, it is a one-on-one experience with them and the horse. Don and Ray told me that a horse can sense a human's heartbeat from 4 feet away. During a typical session, the client will work through their fears and anxieties in an arena with up to 7 horses.
Because I know my horses, and here we go. I know my horses, and it's unique to see how they relate to people.
Ray and Dawn are not worried about the success of their company. They just like to see their horses helping others find peace.
We're just right now trusting the process of the future and where this all goes. It's on our heart to see people helped.
Helping people like Ellen, who a decade after she said she'd never love again, now has a boyfriend.
Things clicked and I fell in love. It's just finding somebody that I have a companionship with and to know I'm not alone.
Dawn and Ray opened Stable Reins in December. They got the idea from an article they read about horse therapy. After 2 years of training, they have 7 horses and 7 clients.